Welcome everyone, and today we are going to be talking about bivariate correlations, understanding and confusion all at once, right? So this is chapter 3 of your book. By bivariate, we means we are looking at two data sets or two data simultaneously, two variables simultaneously. So what is correlation? Correlation is to show that how the two sets are related to each other. So if you look at your book on page number 45, you have time spent exercising and the weight loss. If you spend more time exercising, the weight loss would be more. Or if you spend less time, the weight loss would be less. Basically, it shows a relationship between two sets and how strong or weak is the relationship. That is what is the correlation about. Correlation only is showing you how these two pieces of information are related to each other, but they do not show a cause-effect relationship. Even though we say that more time spent exercising relates to more weight loss, we cannot say that that is what causes the weight loss. It could be other factors also. So you have to remember this is the fact that it does not indicate a cause and effect relationship. This is very important. And we are going to bring this back again. But one of the things that I had said in chapter 2 was us to look at the types of data again. So this is my types of data, the ordinal, the Roscoe, the nominal, and the dichotomous. This slide is exactly the same as the slide in chapter 2, but what I did was I took each one of them and have expanded that. So let's look at the ordinal data. When you look at ordinal data, it is a rank order. So when you are talking about, let's say, the letter grades, A, B, and C, it is in rank because if you have a 90 and 100, yes, you have an A. So that is an ordinal data. You're looking at Likert scale is when you say is strongly agree, disagree, neutral, or strongly agree, whichever range you do, but those are ranks. Class ranks are all ordinal data. Like here I have hot, hotter, hottest. So if I give them values, this is an ordinal data. It occurs in order. Nominal data is each of them has a value and they are mutually exclusive. There is no logical order in it. Like gender, male, female, there is no logical order for it. Ethnicity, race. We talk about groups. We talk about hair color. We talk about, we can talk about, like if you're talking about blonde, black hair, brown hair, there is no logical order. They are mutually exclusive quantities. Nominal is you give them a number. It is, and I'll explain why types of data is so important. So interval is which occurs in specific order and it reflects equal differences, like your GRE scores, your IQ scores. This is my IQ. So you know what is the IQ. There are equal differences between each point. That is an interval data. And then the ratio data is the data that has a true zero, which means like income. Income can be zero, and then weight, height. In real life, you obviously cannot have a weight of a zero, but that is what is the fact is between the ratio and the interval is the ratio has, it also reflects equal differences and its logical orders, but it could have a true zero, which is not possible in the interval data. So why have been talking about all these different types of data? We have been talking about the types of data because it is the only the interval and the ratio data is where you can do the mathematical operations. Like we talked about in the chapter 2 is the mean, median, mode. And now again, when we will talk about if further go ahead is the t-test and all those things. So mathematical operations can only happen on interval and ratio data. We can do correlations on the nominal and the ordinal data, and there are techniques for it, but most research always, whenever they talk about correlation, they talk about Pearson correlation, which is on the internal and the ratio data. The dichotomous is basically nominal data that has only two values, yes or no, male, female, that type. So let's look at, let's go further and look at the correlation research. So once again, it explores the relationship between the two variables. So two variables as opposed to one indicates bivariate. Now your relationship could be high, which means more I exercise, more weight I lose. So they are both high and high. It could be low and low. Less I study, less grade I get. So low and low. It could also be a high and a low relationship, and a low and a high relationship. These relationships are given on page 45 of your book if you want to read more, and we are going to talk about all of these types of correlations. So correlation coefficient gives you the strength and the direction of direction of a relationship. Now, as we talked about, there is much more probability of having a high and a low relationship than a high-low and a low-high relationship. That is very little systematic tendency that is there. So let's talk. So when you're looking at a coefficient, the correlation coefficient, when they give you a correlation coefficient, which is most commonly the Pearson product moment correlation coefficient, it is between -1 to +1, which basically means that a -1 is they could have the most strong correlation, but it is negative. And then a positive is when it has the most positive relationship. So negative would be low, and positive is high and high. If you look at page number 49 of your book, it is going to show you that a direct relationship is a positive relationship, and an indirect relationship is an inverse relationship, which shows a negative correlation. The term high is used when the correlation coefficient is closer to -1 or +1. So it's closer to the two ends. And a weak relationship is when it is closer to 0. I have a diagram here to show you guys. So if you look at this one, -1 to +1, you have a -0.8, a 0, and a 0.8. So if you have, there is no correlation between money and weight, but height and longevity has a 0.8, which is a strong correlation. Smoking and happiness has more the smoking, less is the happiness. So this is where you see where the high and the low is coming in. More smoking is less happiness. Let me correct this once again. Positive is high, low, and then you have your negative to be high, low, high. So this is what it is. Sometimes researchers try to say that a 0.5 is a very moderate or close to strong relationship. So they try to do that based on their own discretion, but basically 0.6 and above 0.6 to 0.8 is moderate, 0.8 and above is more stronger correlation, and 0 to 0.5, 0.6 is generally weak correlation, and that is what is there for the other end also. 0 to negative 0.6 is like weak. Those labels are reported, as I said, at the discretion of the researcher, but because they have the values, that is what lets the readers decide whether it is true or not. So if I go back and you're going to look, here is some examples of it. High school class rank and college success, SAT scores and college success, height and weight. These are those things. As you are looking for your research topic, think about your variables. Is it a single variable? Is it a bivariate variable? What kind of a data set is that? So here is one of my data set which has an experience in years and then income in the thousand. This is just the subject number. So if I look at this data set, what kind of information is included? I have the experience in years is given, income in thousand is given. I can also see, does it come from a range of number or does it appear to be yes and no? So here is where you're looking at, is it a nominal data or is it an ordinal data? What kind of data it is? This is not a nominal data. This is not an ordinal data. You have is what is called the ratio data here so that I can do mathematical operations on it. How many comparison can we make? This is an important question. It is there in your assignment also. If it is having two variables, like I have the income and the years of experience, I will use this formula to find out how many correlations can I do. So two variables is 2 minus 1 divided by 2, which is 1. So in this data set, I could only make one correlation. But if I have 3 data set, then it will be 3 minus 1 divided by 2, which would come out to be that I can make more than one correlations. So variables, number of variables determine how many correlations can you make. So now I've taken this data and I've actually used to make scatter plots with it. Scatter plots provide you immense amount of information about the data set. The scatter plots, if you look at it, has two things. You have your horizontal axis and you have your y-axis. So your horizontal axis is your years of experience, which is the abscissa, and then the y-axis is your income, which is the ordinate. Page number 46 has this. Basically, the scatter plots provide you the relation or reveal the relationship between the two variables through the pattern formed by the dots. So if you look at the dots, they are going, they are in the increasing order and they mostly lie on a straight line. They don't have to perfectly align on a straight line, but if I draw a line of best fit, I would see some are above, some are below. So basically they are making a positive correlation and they are going in the straight line. This is very important for you to understand, is because there are different types of correlations. Let me show you that slide that